Hello and welcome to the first edition of Matty's Nibbles. I'm Matty and these are my nibbles. Today, for the first one, I want to do something fairly simple, something pretty fun. You know what, you guys don't even know what I'm doing. I got a knife, I got an apron, I got a chopping board, so obviously it's got something to do with cocaine. No, we're going to start cooking. It's not going to be a cooking channel, but I do want to talk about food a lot. It's going to involve a lot of cooking, it's going to involve eating out, it's going to do all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, it's about getting fat. So today we're going to cook some chicken schnitzel with a Cheetos twist, some sweet potato with some fun shit on top to make it nice and tasty. So, I'm looking at the wrong camera, bear with me, let's try and make this work. This is my first time, I'm a virgin, I'm nervous, you can probably tell. Let's go. I'm going to start with some sweet potatoes. I've already turned my oven on to 200 degrees, probably about 400 Fahrenheit. It does take quite a while to cook sweet potato. Going to try something I've never done before because I hate waiting. Actually, what I want to do is wash them first. I'm going to go over to the sink, just going to get a scrubbing brush, try and get rid of the dirt and the gristle. Sweet potatoes are normally pretty filthy things as they are grown in dirt. So now they're nice and clean, all I'm going to do is prick some holes in it, just to let a bit of I suppose steam pass through it. What I'm going to try, which I've done with potatoes but never sweet potato, it's not something I often cook at home but I always order out. I'm going to try and microwave it for a bit first to try and speed up the cooking process. Aluminium, always use aluminium in the microwave. No, I'm fucking with you. It looks like a pretty reasonable bowl for this. I know this is microwave safe. This bowl helped me get through tough financial times, you could say. Migarang noodles. Go 9 minutes in the microwave. That should speed up the cooking. For your average size, you're probably looking at about an hour at 200 degrees in the oven, 200 degrees Celsius in the oven. I reckon 9-10 minutes in the microwave should reduce that by half. While that's in the microwave, let's start having a look at our protein. Always go free range where you can. I know it's still cruel, you give them a life and then take it away, but I like chicken. So we've got two very different sized breasts, but what I want to do is make these so they're a cookable size in the pan later. I don't have a deep fryer, I don't like deep fried food. Just use a bit of plastic, it doesn't really matter what you do, but you want this to cook pretty evenly, just with your meat basher. You could use a rolling pin, you can use your head, you can use whatever you want. This probably works the best. The reason we use the plastic is so we don't actually damage the meat. And that looks like a much better size. Sometimes the dogs get a serve. These fuckers. Whenever you are working with meat, try and get as much fat off as you can without actually destroying the meat itself. It always tastes better. Feed the dogs the scraps. What I'm going to use to crumb the chicken is old-fashioned, no, not really old-fashioned, Flamin Hot Cheeto puffs. I'm going to do some more bashing, so I hope you like the noise. Squeeze some air out and bash. The more you bash, the more air can come out. Yeah. So you kind of want a breadcrumb texture, consistency, fineness, grade, but who really cares? Just get it fine enough to crumb the chicken with. Once you think you've got it good, let's grab a bowl. So the other things for the chicken, we're going to want a flour base and an egg wash. Some plain flour. If you've never crumbed before, you're about to get a lesson. Egg. What goes better with chicken than its unborn baby? A little bit of milk, just a splash, a smattering. I was talking to my mum the other night and she says something about, I don't know, a pinch of this and whatever, and she says I get nervous anytime she says she's going to put a little bit of garlic in, because a little bit of garlic for mum is, you know, a huge clove, sometimes two. I love garlic, just don't like it overpowering. And she said, so yeah, when I do the garlic, I put a pinch of olive oil in. I said, oh, a pinch of olive oil, mum. She goes, yeah, pinch. I said, I really want to see you pinch olive oil, that's going to be great. I think this worked better than I expected. These are probably like 70% cooked, that's freaking awesome. They're going to go straight in the oven. Look at this, I'm making a mess doing too many things at once. Deal with it. I don't want the sweet potato to stick to the pan. Bit of olive oil, virgin, whatever you want to do. I prefer them virgin. Now, what I'm going to do is just have a little feel. They're quite hot, but I don't want it to bust open on the bottom side. So there's a tiny crack on one side. I'm going to leave that to the top. Leave that. That one's got a big crack, but that's okay. Straight in the oven at 200. Everyone has a different way of crumbing. Different way of seasoning, different way of doing everything. Everyone thinks their way is the best. Does it really matter? I'm going to season my flour. There'll be some people out there screaming at me saying, no, you should be seasoning the egg wash. Shut up, you're wrong. If I season the egg wash, the other half the people would be saying, no, season your flour. Fuck you all. I'm gonna do it different next time. Save cutlery, use your fingers. Chicken, flour, good coating of flour. From the flour into the egg wash. You notice I'm only using one hand. One wet, one dry. From the egg into our Cheetos. Now I want to get a really good coating of this. I'm so excited about this dinner. And then repeat. Repeat steps 1 through 3. And we have our 3 schnitzels. That is the reason you keep a dry hand. Now, because that was raw chicken, it's all contaminated. We can't use it for anything else. So all of this shit goes straight in the bin. Later on with the sweet potato, I'm going to be using butter in there, but I don't want to make all my butter warm, so I'm just going to cut off what I think I'm going to use, try and get it softened before that happens. The rest of it will go back in the fridge. Just realised, big mistake right then, I used my chicken board. It'll be okay for this little bit, unsure about this bit. If this video doesn't make it to air, it's because we got salmonella and died, so I might give this a wash. So now it's probably not going to be too long before the sweet potatoes cooked, so I'm just going to put some oil in, heat it up, get it ready to go. While we're waiting, let's talk about you. What do you think of me? No, I want to talk about the video and what the idea is. Some of you may be aware that Nibbles doesn't actually want to create anymore, but one of her biggest hobbies is the filming and the editing and the fun stuff. So she's been trying to convince me to do this for a while. Here we are. I love food. I'm probably going to enjoy being behind the camera. We'll see how that goes. Hope you guys like it. I mentioned earlier in the video it's all going to be about food, but it's not necessarily always going to be about cooking. I want to get you guys involved. You tell me what you want me to cook. You tell me what you think I fucked up on, where you think I can go better. You tell me whatever you want to tell me. Trust me, you're not going to upset me. If you do, I'll just block you. People are always funny about how to tell if oil's hot enough. I find if you just put your finger in and you come back out with no skin, then it's probably hot enough. Water and oil don't mix. A little splash. If you hear a sizzle, it's probably ready. Now that the oil's hot enough, I'm going to go put the chicken on the oil in the pan on the stove. So nice and hot. Don't want to overcrowd your pan, so just do one at a time if you don't have a big pan. And let's drop one in. That's what I want to see. The best way to know how much oil to use if you are shallow frying, you want to go about halfway up the side of the chicken, and then you leave it until one side's crispy, and then you turn it over and you wait till that side's crispy, and then if you're unsure how long it takes to cook chicken, get a knife, cut it open and have a look at the inside. If there's pink, it's no good. Check our sweet potato. If you want to know your potatoes cooked, toothpick, skewer, if it goes in very smoothly, it's cooked all the way through. That's exactly what we want to see. For sweet potato, when we serve, you want to just cut the skin a little bit down the front. We've got some softened butter. Just going to slip it in the guts. You can't have too much butter unless you've got diabetes, and then you should probably not have butter at all. And then what we want to do, if your fingers are very sensitive to heat, you don't really want to do this, but if you give it a little squish at the base, it'll open it up a little bit. We're going to sprinkle it with some cinnamon sugar, top it with some soft sour cream. The chicken, that'll do. There's no green on this plate. It looks like it's lacking green. Let's get a little bit of dried parsley. Parsley kind of tastes like nothing. There we go. Dinner is served. However, I've only got one nice fancy plate and I've got one ordinary plate, so I'm going to give Nibbles the ordinary plate. No, I'm not. I'm going to give her the nice plate. Let's see how we taste. I'm going to look pretty silly if this isn't cooked. No, that's cooked perfect. It's a bit naughty. But oh my god, that's fucking delicious. Sweet potato. Splash. Oh my god. Like I said, you can't have too much butter. If you liked it, share it. Let's try and kickstart this shit. Matty's Nibbles coming at you.